This is the VX3 Pro GT. It's from VMAX, which is a Swiss electric scooter company. It's one of the fastest growing brands in the United States, but they've been around in Europe for about 10 years now. The VX3 is the fourth VMAX that we've tested, and this week we're gonna compare all four of them. So I'll tell you which ones I like best and which ones are the best deal. And if you're new to the Electric Scooter Guide channel, I'm Paul, and for the last 3 years, I've tested more electric scooters than anyone in the world. The VX3 is a single motor scooter that has 400 watts nominal power from the rear motor and 840 watts peak. Its specified top speed is 19 miles per hour, but as you'll see when we get into the performance section, when we tested it, it went way faster than that. The VX3 is VMAX's second lightest and second least expensive scooter, and like most VMAX scooters, comes in 3 choices of battery sizes. It sells for $549 to $649, depending on which battery size you get, with ranges of 16, 22, or 28 miles. But those range numbers assume that you ride in eco mode, which we know nobody really does. So stick around, because I'm gonna ride it from full battery to empty in beast mode, and we'll see how far it goes in the real world. And we'll dig into the unusual braking system, and I'll cover the one feature in the app that when I tested it and got real data, turned out it did nothing at all. Up next, we'll unbox it, performance test it, check out the specs, check out ride quality, the pros and cons, and see who it's for. Let's see what the VX3 is like right out of the box.
Okay, so it looks like, yeah, we're just gonna plug in one wire here, find the little keyway. There we go. And this is not so bad. Some of the other ones, we had to kind of push a lot of cable here. But this one fits pretty easily. Now this is really original. I am really surprised by this. It has like a fish-shaped deck, swooping design here. You can't really see it from the sort of the profile pictures of the scooter, but you can see it if you look straight down. Got our manual, valve stem extender to make it easier to put air in the tires, fasteners, and a tool. Let's do it. All right, so this is VMAX's least expensive scooter, but I'm still seeing a lot of high-end touches here, like the fact that the logo is etched into the frame. This is not paint, this is etched into the aluminum. Let's check out this stem latch. All right, so it comes up. Okay, so it latches in, and then you can pull on it, it won't open, but you've got your little safety here. You pull that up, then it comes down easily. Ooh, that's nice, that's easy to use. So this is a fun one. Just like on the VX2, we've got 2 levers, but only 1 mechanical brake. So this one just controls the regen brake at the rear wheel, and this one controls the drum brake at the front. Let's turn it on. Nice display. Like the other ones, looks like we're about 3/4 of the way charged. Not in 0 start right now. Looks like it might only have 2 modes, sport and non-sport, but we'll dig into that a little more later. And the headlight looks really bright, and it's adjustable. No suspension, but it feels really solid, and I think these are 10-inch tires. Let me have a look. Yep, they're 10 inches. In fact, they're the same ones we've seen used on the eMove Cruiser in the past. All right, I'm gonna get this charged up because testing starts tomorrow. First up, we're gonna measure the top speed of the VX3 Pro GT in all 3 modes. Haha, I got a little power wheelie there. All right, now let's try sport mode. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, there we go. All right, 15. I'm still just seeing 15 in sport mode. I see 16 on the display, 15 on draggy. Okay, let's go back the other way. Let's go against the wind. Go. All right, I can feel it getting up to speed faster in sport mode, even though it has about the same top speed. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to get into beast mode. It takes 5 clicks right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then use the throttle to toggle from mode 1 to mode 2, and then 5 clicks. And there's no indication that anything has changed except that when we lift the wheel off the ground and spin it up, we see a much higher top speed. 26 miles per hour indicated. Let's see what that gets us on the ground. Go! All right. Okay. Right away, I feel more acceleration, and we're zooming past the previous top speed. And I've got the wind with me, so I'm gonna see the highest speed in this direction. 23, 22 on the draggy. Oh, I saw 23 for a second. Let's try it back the other way now. 1, go. All right. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're really pushing against the wind right now. Let me make myself a little smaller. I'm seeing 20 on the display. 21. Okay, well that was not what I expected. We got the same top speeds, 15 miles per hour in both directions, in eco mode and in sport mode. But when I went into beast mode, we saw the top speed jump up to 22 miles per hour on flat ground. All right, let's test the brakes. Ooh, 13.6, much better. That's more like what I expect. Ooh, 12.7. That's really good. I don't know if we're gonna beat that. 11.9 feet, we're not gonna beat that. That felt perfect.
My previous favorite scooter for like the strongest brakes without any chance of flipping over forward was New's KQi2 Pro. But the VX3 beat that distance by more than a foot, stopping from 15 miles per hour in just 12.7 feet. In fact, this might be my favorite new scooter in terms of like really strong brakes that require zero finesse. And here's how they did it. First of all, the levers are switched. So the right brake is the rear one and the left one is the front, which is more like a bicycle than an electric scooter. And then the second unusual thing is that this right one looks like a mechanical brake, but it's actually triggering the regen brake in the rear wheel. And then the left one is controlling the drum brake up front. The app has kind of a cool feature where you can adjust the acceleration response and the braking response. So I decided to test the braking response by setting it at 1, at 5, and 10, and then stopping by using only the regen brake lever. And what the data showed me was that it had absolutely no effect at all. But the app also comes with the ability to update the firmware in the scooter, so I expect that this function will start working at some point. All right, let's look at some of the features of the scooter, starting with the display. The display is really simple and easy to read, with the exception that when you get down to the last two bars, they both turn red, and that red is hard to see in sunlight. Let me cover how to get into beast mode. You saw me do this during the speed run, but it's important because it's not in the manual, and it's also not something you can do in the app. Okay, so I'm starting in sport mode, and we can tell, because I spin it up, and it maxes out at 15 miles per hour. So to get in beast mode, 5 clicks, this pops up, hit the throttle until it says number 2, 5 more clicks, and now when I spin it up, much higher top speed. Now the funny thing about beast mode is there's no indication on the screen that you're in it, so the only way to check is to kind of lift it up on the side stand and spin it up to top speed. Another function that's kind of similar is cruise control. You get into it by pressing 3 times on the power button. Then if you hold the throttle down for a while, it'll maintain your speed until you hit the throttle or the brake. But one thing I don't love is that there's no indication that cruise is active, and there's no indication of when it kicks in other than it gives you a little beep. So let me show you how it folds. The stem latch on the VX5 and the VX3 aren't quite as nice as the ones on the VX2 and VX4. They're just a simple little latch that rides over the top of this little nub here. But I do like the way that the stem latches down to the deck. That's really quick, it's easy, and it's secure. In the big battery GT version, charging takes 6.5 hours with the included 2.5 amp charger. We've started scoring the reliability of scooters at scooter companies recently in our database, and VMAX has the highest scores in the whole database. It is because of things like having scooters that are UL listed, 2-year warranties. In the case of this scooter, having tubeless tires, drum and regen brakes, and I really have to commend them for the parts availability on their website. If you're a scooter product line manager, please go have a look at VMAX's website and their parts availability, and the ability to sort by scooter is pretty amazing. Just do that.
We're at the ESG hill climb, and I think this is going to be pretty revealing. Top speeds weren't that different in eco mode or sport mode, but I think we'll see a big difference here. Let's find out. Go. All right, 8 on the dash, seeing about 7 or 8 on draggy. Oh, slowing down a little bit. Now it's holding steady. Doesn't feel like it's struggling though. It's just not as fast as the VX2. Okay. Okay, now sport mode. 8, 9, we're seeing a little faster in sport mode. 10. 3, 2, 1. Oh, little power wheelie. Feeling the same? About the same as sport mode. Let's see what we get. All right, so this is a surprising result for the hill climb. And what I'm seeing is that in eco mode, we reach the top of the hill in 19.8 seconds. In sport mode, 16.5, but in beast mode, 16.6. And we saw something like this with the VX2. It's got a higher top speed in beast mode, but it's actually got a little, just the tiniest bit more climbing power in regular sport mode. Don't know what that's about, but there you go. I'm gonna head out and do the range test now. I'm gonna keep it in beast mode the whole time. That's it, we've reached the end of the range test. I'm showing 21 miles on the odometer, 21 miles on the app, and then we'll see what the official number is from the data logger.
Odometers tend to be a bit optimistic, and that was the case here too. According to the data logger, I rode 18.2 miles, and that was in beast mode on our range test course, which has a lot of hills.
All right, so what's the VX3 like to ride? Well, you know, like the VX2 and VX5, there's no suspension, but it does have 10-inch tubeless tires, and they only inflate to 36 pounds, so they give you a pretty smooth ride. The VX3 also has a very stout frame. It's made from cast aluminum, and it's all one piece. I don't know, it's a weird detail, but there's something that feels really good. I can just tell when a scooter has a strong frame. It feels good, it feels solid. And it feels, I guess, more stable when you're riding around, kind of no matter what speed you're riding at. And I can also really tell that, you know, VMAX really put some work in on both the regen brake response and the throttle response on all of these scooters, because all of their scooters just have really, really good throttle response. It just feels natural. You don't have to get used to it. It just, the first time you ride it, it works the way that you expect the throttle should. It's exceptionally smooth. So here I am in beast mode, and you know, I never recommend that anybody ride one-handed, but you know, here I am in beast mode, and you know, the throttle is just very predictable and just doesn't do anything I expected, so it's easy to ride one-handed. And you know, kind of like with the Apollo scooters, I find myself riding around mainly using the regen brake over here. It's just really smooth, you can't really get it wrong, and it recharges your battery, so you know, why not? And so when you put that all together, what you end up with is a scooter, you know, a lot like the VX4 that I rode for a lap around San Francisco, is a scooter that you can ride for a long time without getting tired. It just, the fact that the brakes, the throttle, everything about it is so intuitive, just means that it's just easier to ride and it doesn't tire you out. So this hill I've had a hard time with on other scooters. Let's see how it does. Oh yeah, it breezes right up. Even though it's one of VMAX's smaller scooters, it'll climb pretty much any hill you come across, like this one, for example. It just zooms right up.
Let's look at pros and cons. Pros include outstanding brakes, excellent build quality, above average range and top speed for the price, and original design. Cons include, I wish it had the stem latch from the VX2 or VX4, and aside from the bars being very dim at the end of the battery life, I thought the battery gauge was a little optimistic in the first half. So who is the VX3 Pro GT for? Well, to answer that, I want to bring in the rest of the VX series, because together they cover just about every use case you can think of for a single motor electric scooter. And first off, they don't go in order from smallest to biggest. The VX5 is actually the smallest at 37 pounds. Then comes the VX3 at 40 pounds, the VX2 at 45 pounds, and finally the VX4 at 65 pounds because it's got full suspension. Each scooter comes with a choice of 3 different battery sizes, but let me simplify that for you with a recommendation. I graphed out the whole series, but in every case, the range per dollar and performance per pound are better if you just get the big one. Let me take you through what I like best about each of the scooters, and for the VX5, it's the price. If you want a high quality scooter, but you know, at a lower price, at $399, this is a great little commuter. It's got the same build quality as the other VMAX scooters, but then you know, the performance per dollar isn't quite as good, with a top speed of 15.5 miles per hour and a range of 14 miles. Then we've got the VX3, which is a scooter that we're focused on today. It's relatively lightweight and portable, and it has some cool style to it as well. It's got solid ride quality, and it's fast for its price with a top speed of 21.5 miles per hour and good range with 18 miles in the real world. Then we've got the VX2, and this one's a good choice for somebody that wants a high performance single motor electric scooter. And this one you should think of like a faster, longer range 9 Max G2, but without the suspension. But it's still got decent ride quality because of the 10-inch tubeless air-filled tires. It's VMAX's best-selling electric scooter and quickly becoming one of our benchmark single motor scooters. And finally, the big single motor scooter, the VX4 with full suspension, the one that I took for an entire lap around San Francisco and still had 10 miles of range left when I got home. This one goes 25 miles per hour, has 32 miles of range, and is one of my favorite scooters to go on multi-hour long rides. If you're interested in learning more about any of the VMAX scooters, including the best prices, we've got them all linked down in this video's description, and you can use coupon code ESG to save a few bucks. And full disclosure, using those links does help support our channel, but we take all of your support and put it right back into research and testing and making more reviews. And we really appreciate your support. I'm Paul from Electric Scooter Guide. Ride safe and don't forget to wear a helmet.